Angel spring training baseball this afternoon from Goodyear Ballpark in Goodyear, Arizona. The Angels play on the road as they take on the Cleveland Indians. Another beautiful day here in the Valley. Bright sunshine for baseball. Terry Smith along with Mark Gubasal, and it's our pleasure to be with you here today. Gooby, one thing we've been seeing so far this spring for the Angels, especially of late, has been the offense picking up.
Yeah, Terry, they've been swinging the bat very well. And I had a chance to talk to Dave Hansen earlier today about his approach and the team's approach to swinging the bats well.
Part of our plan is really knowing, what pitch you do, you hit the best, what pitch you hit consistently hard, and we're going to go commit to finding that pitch. And it might be pitch one, it might be pitch 4 or 5, who knows? Escobar yesterday in our game, I think he had 3 on the barrel, and they were 0-0 counts. Yeah. So being ready to hit from pitch 1, it just doesn't allow time to take a pitch off, really.
Now, looking at guys as you get halfway through spring training, what is the normal or good amount of at-bats you think for guys to get locked in?
Yeah, that's always been a great question. I don't know. I know in my career I ended up with about 80, 90 to 100 at-bats because I was caddying most of the time. I was going to get 3+ at-bats every game. That's a great. Each guy's different, really. Probably in the 50, 60 range for, those regular guys. They're going to end up with 600+ at-bats these days. That's crazy. So as long as they've got, their feet under them, with some blisters on their hands, they're starting to callus up, they've got some good timing, consistent timing, then that's probably going to be plenty. We've got a lot of baseball left, so we're just trying to gauge that. How do we get out of here healthy and at full speed come April? So 50, 60 maybe. Some guys might need more. Some guys, for whatever reason, we got switch hitters. That's a tough one too. So maybe they need more than that, but around 50 or 60.
By the way, Trout's pretty locked in, isn't he, right now?
Yeah, what's he got, like 10 at-bats, and he's locked in already? Guy's pretty dang special. So, that's just a natural thing, and I'm not surprised. He's barreling the ball. He's doing what he wants to do right now, and he just kind of picked up where he left off.
Now, you mentioned Simmons, Escobar, Nava, Gentry. Those guys come from another organization. Yeah. How difficult is it for you as a hitting coach just to step back and allow them to come to you when they're either feeling good or when they're not feeling so good at the plate?
Sure, that relationship takes a little time. It's these guys they're grown men. They're at the highest level. They've earned that. They've worked hard. I've experienced it myself, and I know that, man. If we can just establish a friendship, some sort of way to communicate, is a lot easier for them to approach me with a question, and so. It's almost like, I want to get to know them first kind of thing. Maybe not even baseball related, but, really on a personal level where we just, hey, buddy, how you doing? What do you like to do? How's your family? All those questions that kind of take down the wall so we can really get down to the nitty gritty of, why am I front shoulder flying out? Why am I off line? Why is my timing messed up? Well, let's go look at it, And then I want them to be comfortable with me, to be able to go, hey, let's go to work. So that takes some time, man. It takes some time. It's different personalities. All 4 of those guys you mentioned are different guys, and so I need to know how to read each one of them differently.
Perfect. I'll get to know you too, jam with some guitar, man. I know you can play a little bit. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, Dave Hansen really has those hitters going. The Angels unbeaten in their last 5 games and have scored 38 runs in the last 5 games. Mark, we'll see Nick Tropiano go for the Angels today. He's been a little bit hot and cold so far this spring.
That door is open for him, Terry, to be able to be in position, especially with some key guys hurt in this rotation. Big effort for him today. Hopefully keeps that ball down. A lot of ground ball outs.
So it's the Angels and the Cleveland Indians. Angels looking to keep things rolling. They've only lost 1 game over the last week or so here in Cactus League play. We'll have the lineups and the start of today's game next on Fox Sports West.
Welcome back to spring training baseball here at Goodyear Ballpark. It is a beautiful day for baseball in Arizona. I'm Alex Curry, and after 4 games at home, the Angels are on the road taking on the Cleveland Indians today, and the big boys made the trip out. So let's take a look at Mike Scioscia's starting lineup. Leading off for your Angels at third base, you know Escobar. Batting second in left field, number 25, Daniel Nava, who had a great day yesterday, and as he predicted, made all the highlight reels last night with his toss to the fans. Batting third out in center field, number 27, Mike Trout. And cleanup today, batting cleanup DH, number 5, Albert Pujols. Batting fifth out in right field, number 56, Cole Calhoun. Batting sixth and back at first base today, number 24, CJ Cron. Batting seventh behind the plate, Carlos Perez. Batting eighth at shortstop, Gregorio Petit. Batting ninth at second base, number 12, Johnny Giavotella. And on the mound for the Angels today is Nick Tropiano. Let's take a look at the Indians lineup. Leading off at second base, Jason Kipnis. Batting second in right field, Robbie Grossman. Batting third at shortstop, Francisco Lindor. He will be one to watch today, a great young talent from Puerto Rico. Batting cleanup at first base, Mike Napoli. Batting fifth, Yan Gomes behind the plate. Batting sixth at DH, number 38, Will Venable. Batting seventh, Tyler Naquin in center field. Batting eighth in left field, Jose Ramirez. And batting ninth, Michael Martinez at third base. On the mound, Cody Anderson. Should be a great game, so let's send it upstairs to Terry Smith and Mark Gubiza with the call. Guys.
Arizona. And the Angels and the Indians just moments away from getting things started. The umpires today, Anthony Johnson will be calling balls and strikes. The umpires on the bases, Jordan Baker, Lance Barrett, and Mark Rippiger. Dimensions here at Goodyear Ballpark. It's 345 down the lines, 380 in the gaps, and it goes 410 to dead center field. Well, nothing was really decided yesterday, Mark, as far as the Angels in action in Tempe. 4-4 ball game against Seattle. Angels at least tied things up in the bottom of the ninth inning, and now get ready to take on the Indians for the second time this spring. The Angels faced the Cleveland Indians earlier and will get ready to take on the Tribe. The Angels and Indians will also match up in the final Cactus League home game for the Angels. That'll be a ball game coming up in just under 2 weeks at Tempe Diablo Stadium. We were talking on the way here to Goodyear today. A lot of people like the Indians as far as the AL Central Division.
Yeah, a lot of those publications from Fangraphs on forward have said that, you know, because of that great starting staff they have, if they get any kind of offense, a lot of people are picking them to win the very, very difficult division. Consider Kansas City world champs are part of that division, along with the Detroit Tigers, Minnesota Twins, and the Chicago White Sox.
So we are just about set for baseball. Indians have a little bit of a different look as far as the caps they're wearing. They have the white fronts of those caps, and then the dark blue for about the other half of the cap, the back part of the cap, if you will. So we're ready for baseball, and the first batter up is Escobar, the Angels' third baseman, and here's the game's first pitch. Grounded sharply right at the young shortstop Lindor. He goes down to a knee to stop it, throws low, and the ball skips off the glove of Napoli. So that figures to be an error all the way on Francisco Lindor. That was a routine ground ball to short.
Yeah, you don't see that too often. Lindor, he's one of the best players at that position in all of baseball. Talk about a young talent. Didn't get really behind that throw real well. Had plenty of time. But then throws that ball wide to first base. Napoli unable to scoop it and trying to keep his foot on the base all at the same time. But once again, Escobar attacking that first pitch. This is like Dave Hansen talked about in the opening, how aggressive he is on that first pitch.
So it's an error all the way on Lindor, and that is his first one this spring. So stepping up is Daniel Nava, switch hitting Angels left fielder, and takes the first pitch, a fastball for a ball. Anderson will throw a fastball, top out around 93, slider, curve, and changeup. He's 25 years old. Was in Double-A when last season began, then went to Triple-A and got called up, made 15 starts with Cleveland and did a good job. He's ready. Here's the next pitch. That's a little bit low and outside. It misses for a ball. 81 degrees here in Goodyear. Infield playing at double play depth. Nava has been extremely hot for the Angels so far this spring. And he takes that pitch a little bit inside. How hot has Nava been? Well, he's hitting .619 this spring.
That's pretty hot. That's seeing every pitch thrown at you at this point. And even when he gets jammed or a good pitch thrown against him like yesterday, he still was able to fight that one off. Got a double back in the first inning of that game.
On base percentage over 700 this spring. And here's the next pitch. He takes that one for a strike on the outside corner.
But if you're Mike Trout, you watch Nava in front of you hitting, you're going to see all the pitches that the pitcher's going to try to get you out with because he's so patient at the plate. Yesterday, he did swing at that first pitch, the first at bat, but after that, the norm, 5-6 pitches almost every at bat.
So he's worked a 3-1 count here, and the next delivery cuts to that one and fouls it back to the screen. So 3-2 on Daniel Nava. Around the infield, the Indians have Napoli playing first, Kipnis at second, Michael Martinez at third with Francisco Lindor at short. They have Jose Ramirez in left, Tyler Naquin, a young outfielder they're very high on, is in center. And they made a change just before the start of the ball game. Robbie Grossman has come in to play right field. Runner goes, and on the 3-2, that is low ball 4. So Nava is on again. Angels have had their first 2 reach base safely without getting hits, and here's Mike Trout.
And the interesting thing, Terry, about that is Escobar was going on a 3-2 count, and obviously no outs, the second batter of the game, but there's trust in the fact that Nava will not expand the strike zone swing and something out of the strike zone, and if it is a strike, it's going to be contact made.
So here's Mike Trout. And he's having a good spring as well, .455 batting average. He steps up, couple runners on base. Angels threatening in the very first inning, and Trout cuts and misses the first pitch. He went after the first pitch. Strike 1.
Did that yesterday one time also.
Yep.
And like Dave Hansen says, the hitting coach, if that best pitch you're going to see during the sequence against a pitcher is a first pitch fastball, why not attack that at that point?
Next pitch on Trout, he's taking that one, and that pitch ends up being a called strike. So very quickly, Mike is in the hole. It's now 0-2. The catcher for the Indians today is their #1 catcher, Yan Gomes. Will Venable is their DH, and Cody Anderson on the mound. 2-strike pitch on Trout. Low, good block by Gomes on that one. They have a fair crowd today here in Goodyear. A lot of Angel fans are here today. And the Angels dugout is on the third base side. You can see a lot of red over there. 2 strikes on Trout. Here's the next pitch. This is lined into right field, and that's going to fall in for a base hit. Getting a late start was Escobar, so he's only going to get to third. Wasn't sure whether or not Grossman out there in right might have a chance to catch it. Trout has a single. The bases are loaded for Albert Pujols.
Yeah, it's an impressive swing by Mike Trout going the other way with that pitch. You know, being behind an account with 2 strikes on, you're just trying to make contact, and he had very good contact going the other way. And that ball was a tough one to read, too, if you're Escobar at second. You stayed back on that so well and just tried to let that baseball travel in long enough to be able to make good contact and get a base hit in the right field.
So Albert has a chance to do some serious damage right here. We'll see if he can come through. This appearance for Cody Anderson is 4th this spring, 3rd start. 8 innings of work for him. The ERA this spring, 4.50. So Albert awaits the first pitch. Runners everywhere, nobody out, just underway. Top of the first, here's the pitch, and a cut and a miss. 0-1 the count.
You see that good fastball from Anderson down in the strike zone. You mentioned earlier, Terry, his fastball get up around that 93, 94 range, but when he's downstairs with that 90, 91, very difficult pitch to be able to elevate to hit that ball in the air.
Here's the next delivery. And Albert checked. Did he go around on that one? Yes, on the appeal. And Pujols just raises his hands in the direction of the first base umpire as if to say, hey, I didn't go after that pitch. But he is deep in the hole now, 0-2.
See from this angle to see if he did. And it looked like he was able to hold up without crossing the plate, but close enough where it is a difficult call for an umpire, especially at first base, to be able to see that barrel of the bat getting close to the front of the plate.
2-strike delivery. That's low. Good stop on it by Gomes. Little bit of a breeze blowing in here at Goodyear Ballpark. For fans who have driven out from Southern California to Arizona for spring training, when you're taking the 10 into the Phoenix area, this would be the closest ballpark, yes, I guess, to Southern California. And here's the next delivery. This is nubbed softly, left side of the mound, stopped by the pitcher who fumbles it, recovers and has time to get Albert. Coming in and scoring will be Escobar. Well, Anderson was thinking about getting a throw to the plate and then fumbled that ball, but with Albert running, he was still able to get him. It'll be a 1-3 RBI ground out, first out in the inning, and it's 1-0 Angels.
Yeah, it would have been a real close play at the plate. Did not panic after he fumbled the ball a little bit. Off the end of the bat, he broke towards third very well. Had a shot initially, but looked up and then could not control the baseball, but under control there, makes a good throw to the first base.
So here's Cole Calhoun with runners at second and third. Nava's the lead runner and Trout's the other runner at second. Cole Calhoun, he's driven in 2 runs so far this spring. He's yet to hit a home run, and there he takes a big cut at that one and misses it for strike one. It's no balls, 1 strike on Cole Calhoun.
Theme so far in this first inning is swing at that first pitch. What do you think, Terry?
Yeah. Angels have been aggressive. Cole Calhoun is from Buckeye, Arizona, which is very close to Goodyear, where we are today. So he is in somewhat familiar territory. And here's the pitch. That's tip, foul ball, and the count is a couple strikes on Cole Calhoun. Just barely got a piece of that. Angels would like to get more than the one they've put on the board so far. 1 out, runners at second and third. Crone waiting on deck. Middle part of the infield backed up. Double play depth. Here's the next pitch. That's low. And again, another pitch in the dirt that Gomes blocks. So Anderson has had a few of them here in this first inning.
Boy, Gomes, a very good defensive catcher. Great throwing arm. Always one of the better percentages as far as throwing out would-be base stealers, but also does a nice job of keeping those hard sliders and breaking balls in front of him. That's perfect technique. Squaring out the body to keep that baseball from getting away from him, allowing a run to score.
So Anderson's next pitch on Cole Calhoun, and that's hit well in the right center field. That ball is in the gap. It's going to bounce and go all the way out to the wall. 2 runs will score easily, and Cole Calhoun comes through with a 1-out, 2-run double. It's 3-0 Angels. So the Angels have made Anderson pay here in the first inning.
That pitch elevated enough where Cole was able to get the good part of the bat, the barrel of the bat on that baseball, and drive it into right center field. Long way. It's 380 to that point where he hit it. It's up 2 runs in that double. See, elevated enough. That's almost letter high. You know, yesterday we saw him swing and miss on a high fastball. This pitch upstairs, he got his hands up and then threw the baseball very well to produce a double and 2 runs scored.
Seen Cole Calhoun come through a lot better here this spring on 2 strike counts. Here's the pitch, and at the plate now is C.J. Crone, and that's a little bit outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
And that's the thing he talked about coming into spring. He was going to think in terms of, he had 2 strikes on him. He's going to try to make more consistent contacts. He wasn't real happy the amount of strikeouts he had last year, even though he had an outstanding season. Just putting the ball in play, pick up some more RBIs by doing so.
Here's another one on Crone, and he takes that one inside. Crone taking some time getting back in the batter's box. I believe that one nicked his bat. They had the count 2-0 on the scoreboard, but I believe it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the next pitch. That's fouled off on the right side, backing out of play. Crone is batter number 6 in the inning. Carlos Perez, the Angels catcher, waiting on deck. The only regular who's really not here today is Andrelton Simmons, the Angels shortstop, and he's still having some issues with his throwing arm. Here's the next pitch. Here's a little bloop on the right side. The second baseman's going to make the grab. Kipnis on that pop out. So staying at second is Calhoun. That's the second out. And Perez will be the next batter.
Yeah, Mike Scioscia had said that Simmons probably not too far away from playing in the field once again.
Yep.
Still plenty of time to, get the repetitions at shortstop ready to roll before the season starts for him. No reason to rush it if his arm's not feeling great.
Yeah. Giovanni Soto's arm, even though we saw him throw out 2 runners in one ball game a few days ago, his arm bothering him just slightly as well. Here's a bouncing ball hit the third. It's fielded by Martinez, and that will end the inning. But the Angels do cash in, get 3 here in the first. We go to the bottom of the first. 3-0 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Nick Tropiano pitching today for the Angels. His 3rd start this spring, and he will face Kipnis, Grossman, and Lindor here in the bottom of the first. 3-0 Angels. Want to remind you, Experian, let's get serious about your credit. Go to Experian.com today. Tropiano waiting for Kipnis to move into the batter's box. Indians' second baseman. He's been an all-star a couple of times in his career, and the pitch, that one is in there for a called strike. Kipnis had a very good year last year and was an all-star last season. He hit .303. Here's the next pitch on the left-handed batter. He takes that one low and inside. This guy was a doubles machine last year. 43 doubles for Kipnis. Here's the next pitch. Fouled off on the left side. That's going to push back and out of play.
Yeah, he has super quick hands. When you think about when he first approaches his plate appearance, he has that bat flat, and then he brings it up, then his hands right through the baseball. So quick. Especially even with high fastballs, which you would think a lefty doesn't jump on a high fastball too often.
Here's the next pitch. This is hit well into center field. Going after it. Out on the warning track is Trout, and it's gone. Oh, that was impressive there. He went the opposite field to left center just a bit. Home run for Kipnis. That's his first one this spring, and Tropiano off to a little bit of a slow start. It's 3-1 Angels.
Exactly what we were just talking about, how quick he is with his hands. It's a long way to go the other way. Certainly the baseball carries well here in Arizona, but to hit the ball that far the other way is impressive. Stay back on it well, the short, quick through his swing to be able to drive that to the left center field.
So the batter is Grossman, who was a late addition to their starting lineup. Chisenhall was slated to play right field and bat second, and he was scratched because of a forearm issue. First pitch on Grossman, and he missed for a ball to 1-0. He taps that one foul right by the plate. We saw Robbie Grossman the last few years in the Angels division. He was with the Astros and trying to win a spot on the Indians roster. He was in only 24 games last year for Houston, spent most of the year in the minors, and he hit just 143 with the Astros a year ago. Switch hitter. Here's the next pitch, and this one is chopped right out to short. Stopped there by Petit, and Grossman is an easy out. One away.
That's where Tropiano has to live. Just think in terms of ground ball out after ground ball out. If he gets ahead of the count, he does have a good curveball and a solid changeup to get a swing and miss, but keep the ball down. Think of ground ball outs, pitch to contact, trust the defense. Nice play by Petit there.
So here's the young shortstop, Francisco Lindor. Lindor, 99 games for the Indians after they called him up from the minors in June. He was in AAA last season and takes that one for a called strike. And he is very quickly developing into the face of this franchise. Here's the next pitch. He chops that one foul right over by his dugout on the first base side.
Yeah, he's got a great personality. They love him there in Cleveland. His teammates love him. There's a lot of energy and some tremendous talent also.
And he's going old school with the stirrup socks on. Here's the pitch. He checks. Did he go around? No, they say he was holding. Lindor, former first-round pick of the Indians. That was back in 2011. Lindor has 2 strikes on him, and Tropiano's 1-2 pitch. That's a little low. Good eye on that one. 2-2 the count. Defensively, the Angels have Cron at first. Giavotella plays second. Escobar at third with Petit at short. Nava in left. Trout in center. Calhoun in right. Perez catching. Pujols DHing. And Tropiano pitching. Here's the next one. It's grounded fair on the first base side. This one is fielded by Cron, who touches the bag. It was hit very close to first base. Unassisted play. 2 are gone. And the former Angel Mike Napoli will be the next batter.
Well, you mentioned yesterday, Terry, all the great young shortstops we're seeing in baseball. There's certainly one right there, even though he got fooled on that pitch from Tropiano. Lindor, special player.
So here's Mike Napoli. Napoli, the former Angel, who has been kind of bouncing around the last few seasons. He was with the Red Sox and Texas last year. Now with the Indians, signed a 1-year deal with them during the offseason. And he's having a good spring. The first pitch of ball to count 1-0. Napoli's hit a couple homers already this spring, 8 runs batted in, and he takes that one for a strike. And ever since he left the Angels, he's hurt the Angels with his bat, hasn't he?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Tremendous power, no matter who throws against him.
Napoli now 34 years old, swings and misses that one. Full. Tropiano has a good changeup.
18 career home runs against the Angels. That's amazing considering it wasn't that long ago he was wearing the Angel uniform.
That's right. So here's the 2-strike pitch, and this one is hit well into center field. Trout is going to be tested again. He's back, and that one is going to get out. Almost the same spot as the one that Kipnis hit. Another home run, and now it's a 3-2 Angels lead. Napoli's 3rd homer this spring.
It's amazing. At some point, the Angels are probably hoping he goes over to the National League.
Well, just mentioned his success in the past against the Angels, and He hit another homer against the Halos. So a pair of them given up in this inning. A couple of solo shots.
You know, early in that at bat, a good breaking ball from Tropiano against him, got him out in front. He's all about that timing mechanism, getting his foot down and then to swing through. He's certainly able to do that on that fastball.
At the plate taking a strike is Yan Gomes. He's had 3 home runs this spring, and they've all been solo shots, and those have been the only 3 runs he's driven in so far this spring. Here's the pitch. A wave and a miss. Fooled on that breaking pitch low and outside. Tropiano has been getting 2 strikes on hitters here, but he's also given up a pair of home runs here in this inning. Here's the next delivery. Chopped out towards short. Should be the inning. Petit has it. His throw. It's in time. Gomes runs pretty well for a catcher. He's retired, and so are the Indians, but they come up with a pair. It's 3-2 Angels as we go to the second on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Three-two Angels second we go. This copyrighted broadcast presented by authority of Angels Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of today's game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of Angels Baseball. So the leadoff batter for the Angels here in the second is Gregorio Petit. He's the number 8 hitter, and he hits one high and deep into left field, and this thing is gone. Clears the bullpen. Boy, the ball jumping out of the ballpark a little bit here in the early going. That's only Petit's 3rd hit this spring. That's his first homer. And the Angels' lead is 4-2.
Another aggressive first pitch swinging blast by Petit. His throwing arm at shortstop's impressive, but that swing right there, extremely impressive how far that baseball went. Good balance and threw the baseball so well on that one, and that ball was a no-doubter.
Yeah. So here is Giavotella, and he is aggressive and goes after the first pitch, but hits it right to the third baseman, and Martinez will throw him out. So 2 pitches. 2 batters have already stepped up, and now we'll see the Angels send the leadoff man, Escobar, to the plate.
And one thing, when you're on the mound, you see your opponent swinging at the first pitch a lot, yet you continue to throw fastballs first pitch. Why would you not continue to have that approach?
Yeah.
You remember Dave Hansen was telling us about that on the opening today, how, you know, that might be your best pitch to drive, first pitch fastball. Now, it's always good to see pitches where it counts. But if that one's down the middle where you can drive it, do some damage, well, you're seeing a lot of aggressive swings early on in that fastball.
Here's the first pitch on Escobar in there for a strike. Well, Cody Anderson is pretty much a strike thrower. If you look at his numbers from a year ago between the minors and the majors, he walked only 38 batters in 162 innings, so he throws strikes. Here's the next pitch, and that's a little low and away.
Well, he is a big, strong kid, that's for sure. Good stuff he has. 4 good pitches.
And he's fighting for maybe the 5th spot in their rotation this spring. There's one that's low. The Indians have a good, solid starting rotation. And they also have a little depth as far as that rotation is concerned as well. And that's why people like them, because of that rotation. That's probably the strength of their team coming into the regular season. There's one that's high and outside and misses.
And there's a lot of power arms in that rotation, young power arms, where every general manager around baseball was calling Cleveland.
Right.
See if anyone was available. But I think they made the right decision. When you have that type of pitching, you stick with it.
There's one that's inside, and that's going to be ball 4. So Escobar has a walk. Angels have a 1-out base runner. When you look at the Cleveland rotation, they have a former Cy Young Award winner in Corey Kluber. That was just a couple seasons ago. And then they have Danny Salazar. They have Carlos Santana. Trevor Bauer is on this club. And pretty much Tomlin and Anderson, who's pitching here, are the guys fighting for that 5th spot in their rotation.
There's not an easy pitcher to deal with at all when you're facing Cleveland in a 3 or 4 game series.
Here's the pitch. That's low and outside on Daniel Nava. He's walked and scored. Infield looking for a double play ball. Switch hitter Nava, 33 years old. Here's the next pitch. He takes that one, and it caught the inside part of the plate. Ron Renicky flashing the signs from the Angels' third base coaching box. Gary DiSarcina is the first base coach this season. Anderson's next pitch outside, and Nava takes it for ball 2. Trout's waiting on deck. He's already had a hit. First 3 Angel batters today reached base safely and all scored against Anderson. There goes the runner. The pitch is high. Going after it is Nava. Throw down to second, and an easy out is Escobar. Well, Nava tried to protect the runner, went after a pitch way out of the strike zone, but missed it. And that'll be a caught stealing at second base.
Yeah, good hit and run count, 2-1 with 1 out. The high fastball, nothing Nava can do to try to make contact. And we talked about Gomes' good throwing arm. At that point, you're in trouble, and Escobar looking back. You don't quite the jump on a hit and run where you're just straight steal. So you're looking and hoping for some contact maybe made behind you. But that high fastball made it difficult for Nava to do so.
So the count on Nava, a couple of strikes, and here's the next pitch, and he waved at that one and got him, struck him out, and that will end the inning. So that's the first strikeout today for Anderson. We are headed to the bottom of the second. Angels up 4-2 here at Goodyear on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Vic Tropiano set to work with a 2-run lead as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And the first batter up will be Will Venable, who's DHing for Cleveland. Veteran player takes the first pitch, and that's in there for a called strike. 0-1 to count on Venable. He signed a minor league deal with the Indians not too long ago, trying to win a reserve outfield spot, and lifts a lazy fly ball into right field. Cole Calhoun is circling under in right center. He'll put that one away. That's the first out. Tyler Naquin will bat. And he is regarded as one of their better young position player prospects, playing center field. Having a good spring for them. 10 for 24. He was in AA and AAA a year ago, where he combined to hit 300. Left-handed batter.
And that's the thing they've been looking for, some young position players, talented young position players. They've had a lot of good young arms come through the system of late. You know, one not long ago, they had so many great young position players coming through the system. There was an outstanding offense, 1 through 9.
Pitch was in there for a strike. 0-1 to count. And here's the next delivery, and that is framed, and it just missed. Perez framing that one for the home plate umpire. Indians have some very good young outfielders. Bradley Zimmer is probably their top prospect. He's an outfielder. Clint Frazier is another really good young outfielder in their system. And I mentioned Naquin, so their farm system right now is in good shape. Here's the 1-2 delivery. That's nubbed softly on the left side. That's going to stay fair. And by the time Escobar, the third baseman, can pick it up on the infield grass, no chance to get a throw to first. And that will be an infield hit with 1 out.
I don't know if you can bunt a ball any better than that on the full swing.
So Ramirez will bat.
That's a great off-speed pitch, too, from Tropiano. There's nothing you can do when you make a pitch like that. As a hitter, all you're trying to do is make contact. But again, if you're Tropiano, you got to feel good that you executed the pitch exactly what you want. It was just unfortunate. It was a slow roller down the line.
So here is Jose Ramirez. He's a young outfielder who spent some time with the Indians last year and figures to be on their club this season. And he takes the first pitch for a ball. The count 1 ball, no strikes. Escobar at third is in a foot or so. And there's a swing and a miss, and the bat goes flying out of the hands of Ramirez all the way back to the backstop. He was fooled on that one. Talking about the Indians and outfielders, their best outfielder, you would have to say, is Michael Brantley. And he has been out because of a shoulder problem. Had shoulder surgery during the offseason. So he is not ready to play yet. And there's a cut and a miss. So a couple strikes here on Ramirez.
And a couple real good change-ups, too, from Tropiano. You mentioned Brantley. He is a special player himself. Not only can hit well, a run producer, but an outstanding outfielder with a good throwing arm. I'll tell you what, Perez is so quiet behind the plate. Carlos gives that target perfect every time.
Here's a fly ball lifted to left field, circling under, and making the catch towards the line is Nava. Routine play. That's the second out. Ramirez is retired, and Michael Martinez will be the next batter.
Sure, Terry, during even the season, you get a chance to talk with Mark Langston about when you see catchers, how quiet and soft their hands are for catchers behind the plate. When you're on the mound and you're throwing to a catcher that's so quiet, his hands, ability to freeze pitches on the corner and frame them so well, it's so comfortable as a pitcher to make in those spots where you can afford to maybe go a half a baseball off the corner because you can keep it close enough to give that deception for the umpire that it is in the strike zone.
Get the call, yeah. There's a toss over to first base. Diving back to the bag goes Naquin. We're in the bottom of the second. It's 4-2 Angels here in Goodyear. Kipnis would be up next. He's homered today, their leadoff man. There's a quick toss over to first, and again back to the bag goes Naquin, who can run a little bit, had 13 stolen bases in the minors last year. Tropiano taking extra time now. The pitch that misses low. The Indians were kind of middle of the pack in the majors last year as far as stealing bases. Escobar continues to play in a foot or so on the left side, and the next pitch that's in there at the knees, a strike.
Changeup's been a pretty good pitch this inning for Tropiano. It might be one of those counts that he can afford to throw one of those pitches.
He's ready. Runner goes. Pitch is lifted in the air into left center field. Trout is coming over, still coming over. He'll make the running catch as he was going to his right. The inning is over. Not much happening for the Indians in the second. We head to the third. Angels have a 4-2 lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Mike Trout will lead it off as we get set for the third. Angels up 4-2. Trout has singled and scored a run so far today, and ready to work is Anderson. Here's the first pitch. That's in there for a strike. Fans, register your little angel for the 2016 Junior Angels Kids Club for only $18. Members receive 4 ticket vouchers, a Junior Angels lunch bag, and other exclusive gifts. Sign up today at angels.com/juniorangels. And the next pitch, Trout takes that one for a ball. Albert Pujols waiting on deck. And here comes the next pitch. Trout takes inside. We'll check out the Dodge Out-of-Town scoreboard here on this Wednesday in just a moment. It's brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Estimated 31 miles per gallon highway. This car was made for driving. Visit Dodge.com. And the next pitch chopped out to the shortstop. Lindor waits on it, throws, and gets it to first in time to get Mike Trout. 1 up, 1 away. Here's Pujols in the Florida Grapefruit League. Some finals. Tigers over the Astros 7-3. Ian Kinsler's third home run this spring for Detroit. Baltimore beat Pittsburgh 9-3. Andrew McCutchen homered in a losing cause for the Pirates, his second. The Cardinals and Braves played to an 8-8 tie in a game that went 9 innings, and the Nationals beat Miami. The final there was 4-2.
Old friend David Freese with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah. And Pittsburgh, a team the Angels will see in the regular season interleague play this season.
Get to see PNC Park. Everyone says that's one of the most beautiful ballparks in baseball. I've never been there yet.
Been there.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Here's the pitch on Albert. It's hard, hit the third. Nice stop, though, by Martinez. Has plenty of time to get him, and the throw is there in time. Albert couldn't have hit that ball any harder. And it got down in a hurry to Michael Martinez, but he stopped it for the second out.
It's good to see Albert hitting the ball well like that, getting that timing together, getting his at-bats in. Stay back on that well. Martinez, nice play, though, with third base in the backhand, strong throwing arm across the diamond to get Albert. Albert looking to play some first base next week.
So Calhoun, second at bat of the day. He's already doubled in a pair, and he takes that one low. Like Socia was saying earlier today, as far as the game plan for Jared Weaver, he is going to pitch in a minor league game on Sunday. And then depending on how that goes, if things go fine for Weaver, here's another bullet. This one at the first baseman, and Napoli catches that liner, and the inning is over. So the Angels go down 1-2-3 here in the top of the third. Bottom of the third is next in Goodyear. It's 4-2 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Four-two Angels, bottom of the third here in Goodyear. And today's game being brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger's all about. Kipnis will lead it off. Tropiano gave up a pair of runs in the first inning, the bottom of the first. One of them was a home run by Kipnis, who gets set to bat for the second time today. Left-handed hitter. Angels have the infield back except for Escobar. He's been playing on the infield grass against a lot of these left-handed hitters, and they do have a lot of left-handed batters in their lineup. 7 of the 9 swinging left-handed against Tropiano. Here's the 1-0, and that's in there for a called strike.
Well, just watching those last two pitches from Tropiano, that first one he threw was way wide. His front shoulder flew wide open. Next one, kept that front shoulder in well.
There's one that's cut at and missed.
That's the important thing when you're a pitcher. When that front shoulder flies open, it makes your elbow go down, and it drifts the ball lateral movement instead of downward movement like you saw these last two pitches when his front shoulder was in there very good as far as working downstairs.
Here's the next one, and Kipnis bounces one back to the mound. Easy play for Tropiano. He'll underhand the toss to Crone, and that's out number 1. Robbie Grossman will bat. Fans, be a winner and play in the Gardens Casino new Omaha Progressive Jackpot. Visit thegardenscasino.com for more info, and please play responsibly. Here's Grossman, who bounced out to Petit. Here's the pitch, a cut and a miss. So we were talking about Jared Weaver. We'll see how things go for him when he's back on the mound Sunday in a minor league game. And Saturday, I guess Tyler Skaggs is going to pitch in a simulated game. There's a cut and a miss. So 2 strikes the count on Grossman.
Yeah, back in Tempe today, a number of big-time pitchers going throwing bullpen sessions from Weaver. You mentioned Tyler Skaggs got a power bullpen today. Matt Shoemaker and Garrett Richards.
Right.
All throwing bullpens today. You mentioned Skaggs after that simulated game. If everything goes well for him Saturday, he'll be pitching in games after that. That's a good sign to see him ready to roll.
Yeah. So here's the 2-strike pitch. That's outside, and in the case of Skaggs, he was saying, hey, it's been 18 months since my elbow was operated on, the Tommy John left elbow surgery, and he really wants to pitch in a game here in Cactus League action. There's one fouled back on the left side.
Well, he looks in great shape. I remember watching him throw in a bullpen session in Cleveland last year towards the end of the season, and he looked so comfortable on the mound throwing. It was all part of the process. He wasn't throwing breaking balls at that point. It was all fastballs. Right. But now he's at the point now he's ready to go after hitters, and then, of course, next week against some major league hitters.
There's Grossman trying to check on that one, and they say went around, picking up the ball, throwing to first to complete the strikeout is the catcher Carlos Perez. So that's the first strikeout for Tropiano. He's put together 4 straight. He's retired 6 of the last 7 since he gave up that second home run in the ball game. So he seems to be settling into a nice groove.
And that was a perfect pitch down and in. After that first pitch he threw this inning against Kipnis, it was wide. He's really done a nice job of maintaining his mechanics, keeping his front shoulder in. He's had some good wicked breaking balls down and in.
So Lindor, the batter, and the first pitch on him, taken for a called strike. Lindor, a switch hitter, batting left. Takes a little bit low and away. Tropiano is ready, and here's the next pitch. Chopped on the right side, a foul ball. Lindor, talked about him earlier, the fact that he was a first-round pick of the Indians. He's from Puerto Rico, and the young players who grow up in that country are part of the June amateur draft. Here's the pitch, and he foul tips that one off the mid of Carlos Perez. First round pick, 8th overall selection back in 2011 by Cleveland, and you kept hearing about him ever since they drafted him, and people were saying, hey, there's a young talented shortstop in the Indians organization that could turn out to be the real deal, and he looks like he is. There's one he cuts at and misses. Tropiano fools him off speed. The throw to first base will complete the strikeout, and a strong inning for Nick as he sets him down cleanly here in the bottom of the 3rd. The 4th inning is next in Goodyear. It's still 4-2 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Fans, don't forget the Angels return to the Big A for exhibition games against the Dodgers on Saturday, April the 2nd, and the Cubs on Sunday, April the 3rd. Get your tickets today at angels.com. First pitch on its way. This one is bounced right to third off the bat of Crone. It's fielded there by Martinez. The throw is high, and it pops off the glove of Napoli. So that is going to be an error on the first baseman. Wasn't the greatest throw, but one that Napoli should have held on to, they feel. And safe at first is Crone on a routine ground ball to third.
Comes down to all about routine, even as an infielder, and certainly as a first baseman. That's a pretty firm throw, a play that, like Napoli, you will see normally always make. Again, what I've seen on a couple plays now for Napoli at first base is he's trying to get that footwork down first before he gets the baseball in the glove, and twice now unable to do that.
So that's his second error of the day for Cleveland. They were a good defensive team. Runner goes. Here's a ground ball hit to third again. The throw to first base. It is low, and Napoli handles that bounce throw. And retired is Carlos Perez. Crone, who is running on the pitch, moves up to second. Well, Michael Martinez is getting a lot of action down there at third base right now.
What we're seeing, too, is aggressive base running. Mike Scioscia a number of times already in this game, hitting and running. One time it did not work out, obviously, when his contact was not made on a high fastball to Nava, and Gomes threw out Escobar. But the more motion you have, the more opportunity you're going to have the defensive team at a good, comfortable position.
So here is Petit, who hit one out over the bullpen his first time up down the left field side. And the first pitch, he's taking that one for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. Anderson looks at second. It's 4-2 Angels here in the fourth, and the next pitch, that's low and inside. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Next delivery, and that's a called strike on the outside corner on Petit.
He remembers that swing that Petit had against him that first at bat on the first pitch. He's going fastball away, fastball in, and then fastball back away. That one catching the corner.
Giavotella waiting on deck. Here's the next pitch. That's skied in the air into left field. It's hit pretty well. Going back is the left fielder Ramirez, still back, and that one is gone. Well, that ball just kept carrying out there. And that's another home run for Petit. A 2-run shot, and now it's 6-2 Angels.
The baseball didn't go quite as far as the last one, but had some serious height to it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be careful with the fastball the first 3 pitches. This time on the inner half of the plate, and he was ready for it, Petit. 2 home runs, looking for the natural hat trick next to bat.
So the batter now is Giavotella, and he takes that one for a strike. Well, Petit had only 2 hits all spring, and he's 2 for 2 today with a pair of homers, and he's not by any stretch a home run hitter. He did not have any with the Yankees last year in 20 games. He had only 2 homers in AAA last year. Here's a ground ball hit to short. Lindor charges and throws, and it just nips Giavotella for the second out. So the ball is jumping out of the ballpark today. Already 4 home runs hit in this game, 2 for each side. Here's Escobar.
Pretty good indication how good those hands are from Lindor to be able to come in on that slow roller like that, to be able to have that quick transfer, the throw Giavotella out of first base. Coming in quickly, and quickly gets rid of the baseball. The transfer to the glove to the throwing hand so quick for Lindor.
Here's the pitch, and that one is taken for ball one. It's 1 ball, no strikes. The Angels have had only 4 hits so far, but 6 runs. Here's the pitch, and that's blasted into center field, but it's hanging up. battling the sun, and making the grab on that one is Naquin, and that will end the inning. He struggled with that one, but makes the catch. The inning is over. 2 more runs for the Angels, a 6-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Six to 2, Angels bottom of the 4th. Fans, if your computer is running slow, go to mycleanpc.com. Get a free computer diagnosis. In minutes, you can activate MyClean PC software to clean out the junk that may be slowing down your computer. You can check them out. Visit mycleanpc.com. So Tropiano facing Napoli, and the first pitch on the ex-Angel. He is taking it for ball 1. Napoli is homered, his only time up. Here's the next pitch, and that is outside. 2 balls, no strikes on Mike Napoli. Napoli hit only .224 last year between Boston and Texas. He had 18 home runs a year ago. And there's a pitch that comes in on him, and it gets a piece of him. Hit by the pitch. So leadoff man is on. Gomes, the catcher, will be the next batter.
Yeah, it looked more like an off-speed pitch that ran in on Napoli. Never like get hit with a baseball, but if you're going to get hit with a pitch, you prefer something off-speed.
Gomes is grounded out, his only time up. So Tropiano getting ready to face the right-handed hitting catcher, Yan Gomes. First delivery, and that's low. It gets away from Perez, and that one's going to get back to the backstop. That wild pitch will move Napoli up to second base. One ball, no strikes. A little bit of a cross-up, it would appear, as Perez goes out to have a word with Tropiano.
You can see the way he reacts on that one, because Carlos does a very good job as far as keeping that baseball in front as a ground ball type pitcher is Tropiano. You want that guy at first base so you're going to get ground ball and get 2 outs with it. Now you have a man in scoring position with no outs.
Yan Gomes, the first Brazilian-born position player in Major League history. He moved to Miami to South Florida as a teenager. Born in Brazil. Here's the pitch, and he cuts it, that off-speed pitch, and misses it. 1-1 to count on Gomes. Gomes had a knee injury last season, and it happened early last year, and he played in 95 games as it turned out. Here's the next pitch. That's low. Fastball misses. 2-1 to count on the Indians catcher. Cleveland a year ago, they finished in third place in the AL Central, and they had a record of 81-80. They played one fewer game last year, a makeup game, because of a rainout. They never did make it up. They've had 3 straight winning seasons. And a lot of people think they're going to certainly challenge in their division in 2016. Here's the next pitch. That's grounded right up the middle. Giavotella backhands behind second and throws and gets it there in time. Boy, it seemed like that throw took forever to get to first base, but he does get Gomes. Napoli moves to third, and Venable will be the next batter.
Yeah, positioned perfectly to be able to get that ground ball. Normally you would think a base hit up the middle, but Johnny being there, the backhand, he get a tunnel on the throw, but nice job as far as getting his glove and the body in position to make that play. Just gets Gomes going down the line. You mentioned earlier, Terry, he does run very well for a catcher.
Sure does. So here's Venable. And the first pitch on Will Venable, who's DHing. He takes that one for ball 1. Venable has struggled at the plate this spring trying to win a spot on the Indians roster. He's just 1 for 19. He was with the Padres and the Rangers last year. And he takes that one for a strike. And he kind of signed late this offseason. He was kind of fishing around for a spot. Former 2020 man in the big leagues. He did that back in the 2013 season. Here's the next pitch on its way. He lifts it high in the air into left field. This appears to be plenty deep enough to get in the runner. Making the catch on it is Nava, and tagging at third is Napoli. He'll score easily on the sac fly. So the Indians get a little bit closer. It's now a 6-3 Angels lead with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
It's a pretty good indication how well the baseball is carrying today. I mean, he didn't square that ball up real well, but end up going far enough to be able to get a sac fly. Not a bad pitch from Tropiano, but the way the ball is carrying, no way you're going to have a play at the plate.
So here's Naquin, their center fielder. Boy, the Indians really manufactured that run here in this inning. Napoli got hit by a pitch, and he went to second on a wild pitch, and he went to third base on a ground out, and he scores on a sac fly. And here's the next delivery, and there's one that's ripped just out of the reach of Petit, the shortstop. He got a little glove on it to slow it down. That's a hit all the way for Naquin, who's now 2 for 2. That ball was really hit hard.
He stayed back on that one extremely well. Let the baseball travel deeper into the strike zone. His swing path was perfect to hit that ball to that part of the field. Stayed back on it. A lot of times when you try to pull that fastball away, you're going to hit a ground ball to second base, but stay back well and hit that ball rocket off the glove of Petit at shortstop.
So the batter is Ramirez. 2 outs. And the first pitch on him, he takes it low and inside. Ramirez, as he bats here with 2 outs, he is a very good bunter. But the Angels aren't expecting him to be dropping one down here with 2 outs as Escobar plays across from the bag, the third baseman, the next pitch. And that is a called strike. A couple seasons ago, Jose Ramirez tied for the major league lead in sacrifice bunts. Hit only .219 last year with Cleveland. There's a toss over to first. Back to the bag goes Naquin. Ramirez, a player the Indians have kind of moved around. He was a shortstop for them back in 2014. He's playing left field today. Again, a toss over to first, and diving back goes Naquin.
Well, if you could play a number of different positions and play them well defensively, you have a great chance of making that 25-man roster, especially with the number of guys. You'll see at teams with the number of pitchers they have down in their bullpens right now. Versatile players give you a better chance to make that 25-man roster.
There's a pitch that's low. Yeah, when they traded Asdrubal Cabrera in that 2014 season, this is a guy that took over at shortstop for them, but obviously with Lindor here now in Cleveland, Ramirez had to find another position. There's a toss over to first. Diving back to the bag goes Naquin once again, so Tropiano paying a close eye on him.
We saw Ramirez make some nice plays at second base last year, a number of times filling in for Kipnis when he was missing some time.
Yep. Here's the next pitch. This is skied in the air to right field. Cole Calhoun will have to come in a few feet. He's under. He'll put it away, and that will end the inning. Indians get a run. Angels have a 6-3 lead. We're headed to the fifth here in Goodyear on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Six-3, Angels on top. Score update. It's brought to you by Experian. Get serious about your credit by visiting Experian.com. So a pitching change for Cleveland. Their starter Cody Anderson leaves. He went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 6 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, and a pair of homers. And Dan Otero, who we've seen in recent seasons with the Oakland A's, now in the Indians' scheme of things, will get the baseball and take over in relief. First batter up will be Nava. Otero making his 6th appearance this spring. In 5 innings, he's given up 8 hits and 2 earned runs. First pitch in there for a strike. Dan Otero, a sinker ball pitcher. When he's going right, he'll get a lot of ground ball outs. Otero had a rough year last year with Oakland, and the pitch. This is lifted in the air into left center field. Going back on it is Ramirez, and he will gather it in. Most of the outfield play today, Mark, the outfielders have been backing up. The ball is carrying today.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. If you're, especially with Otero, a sinker ball pitch, you elevate anything in the air and it's getting hit hard, it's going to travel very, very well. Sinker slider type pitch, occasional changeup, but Otero for a while had great numbers.
He did
against the Angels until you mentioned last year where he struggled. At one point, didn't even give up a run against an earned run.
There's a called strike on Trout, 0-1. You know, Otero had trouble with the home run ball last year with Oakland. He was in 41 games for them. His ERA was over 6.5 last year, and eventually spent time in the minors. Here's the next pitch, and Trout skies one in the air. Backpedaling in right field is Grossman, but he has a play on it. He'll make the catch, and Trout, who hit that one off the end of the bat, is retired. 2 quick outs, and Albert is the next batter. Pujols hit the ball about as hard as he could his last time up, but it was stopped by Michael Martinez, the third baseman. Albert's 0 for 2 with a run batted in. And they will put a shift on, and boy, Napoli, the first baseman, is positioned halfway between first and second. That's how far off the bag he is as that pitch is in there. You're not going to see a first baseman play that far off the bag, I'm telling you what.
So a comebacker to the pitcher, it's a pretty good jog over to first base for Napoli also to be able to cover the base.
No doubt. And Albert waves and misses that one. Yeah, so halfway between first and second. Napoli's about 45 feet off the first base bag. 3 infielders on the left side.
Even a ground ball to an infielder on the left side, that's a long way. He's got to go back to the base.
And the next delivery, that one is low. Good step by Gomes, although no one on base. Albert Pujols has yet to play in the field for the Angels. He's been DHing so far this spring. Might see him get some action at first base next week. Here's the next pitch, and there's a poke into center field, and right there waiting, making the grab is Naquin. That cost Albert his bat. He cracks it, and the inning is over. So a fly ball to all 3 outfielders here in the 5th. Bottom of the 5th is next. Angels leading the Indians 6-3 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. We move to the bottom of the 5th here in Goodyear. Nick Tropiano, the starter, is now done for the day. And Tropiano in his 4 innings allowed 4 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned. He did not walk any, struck out 2, hit a batter, threw a wild pitch, and gave up a pair of home runs. So the new pitcher for the Angels is Greg Molly, SoCal native, who is getting ready to work for the 6th time this spring. And in 5 innings, he's allowed 6 hits and 2 earned runs. Left-hander Molly delivers. And the first pitch is a little bit outside for a ball. On the first batter, he faces the 9-hole hitter Michael Martinez.
Been looking forward to seeing Molly. I know he throws a couple different arm angles, which makes it difficult to pick up as a hitter.
Here's the next pitch, and this is popped up on the left side of the infield. Let's see who's going to call for it. It will be the third baseman Escobar, a foot or two in on the grass, and that's the first out. Easy out. Kipnis will be the next batter.
There's real solid communication amongst the infielders there, Terry, when you think about it. Escobar calling it right away. A lot of times you'll see the shortstop call off the third baseman. It looked like he had a better read on it, and after the play, Petit worked his way over towards third base, and Johnny Giavitello worked his way over to second base.
So Molly gets ready to face Kipnis. And one thing about Molly we've seen, and it certainly has been his reputation as he drops down from the side. That one's in there, and Kipnis does a double take to the home plate umpire, Anthony Johnson.
That's got to be real comfortable if you're Kipnis right there thinking, where's this baseball going to go?
Here's the next pitch. Same spot, same result. He takes it for a strike, but Molly is tough against lefties. And so far, so good here against a tough left-handed hitter in Kipnis.
Because what he does, he throws his fastball from the side and his slider. A lot of times you'll see lefties only flip a slider from that point, but it's a fastball.
And that was a fastball, a little bit high and outside.
Yeah, you try to track thinking it's a slider away, and he runs that fastball from that arm angle inside. If you're a left-handed batter, it'll take your breath away.
And the next pitch, that's on the outside corner. Kipnis never swung at a pitch right there. He made him look bad. And that is out number 2.
And Kipnis is a solid hitter against left-handed pitching. Usually can stay in there very well, but certainly did not look comfortable, like you said, Terry, at any point during that at bat.
Yeah.
Nice frame job once again by Carlos Perez.
So here's Grossman. He's a switch hitter, so he'll bat right-handed against the lefty. And Molly's pitch, a cut and a miss. Molly closed games last year in the Angels system. He was in A-ball and Double-A. And his next delivery, it's a fastball. It's outside. But he's kind of funky out there on the hill.
Be real tough against a lot of the tough left-handed batters in this division. When you think about Robinson Cano, Prince Fielder, just to name a few. Remember, Tony Fossas was a guy that for a long time made a living just going in there facing the very best left-handed batter on the different teams he would face. Very, very effective.
Here's the next delivery. This is chopped out to the shortstop. Petit has it. His throw is in time, and it's a clean inning for Molly. They never get the ball out of the infield here in the bottom of the 5th. 6th inning is coming up. 6-3 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. .24-year-old lefty Kyle Crockett is pitcher number 3 for the Indians. Otero had a 1-2-3 inning against the Angels in the 5th. Crockett ready to work here in the 6th inning. He was in 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. 31 games for the Indians last year as a reliever. And he's kind of a situational left-hander. That's how they used him last season. In 31 games, only 17 2/3 innings. He will face the left-handed hitting Cole Calhoun. Here's the first pitch. And that's a called strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, it's a pretty good fastball, 88 to 92 range slider. Good slider and a changeup.
Calhoun has doubled in a pair so far today. And the next pitch, that's right in there for a called strike. Angels have a 6-3 lead as we get inning number 6 going here in Goodyear. And the next pitch, that's lifted high in the air down the left field side. Coming over is Ramirez, the left fielder, and he'll make the catch just across the foul line. It would have been a foul ball, but the out is made, and there's one gone.
Looked like he tried to keep his feet in play there to make a reception. He was going to get the call down the line.
Well, you have to have 2 feet in bounds there.
Yeah, it's not college rules here.
Crone will be the next batter for the Angels. C.J. Crone is 0 for 2. Crone has been somewhat quiet so far this spring. His batting average is right around 200, and he has yet to hit a home run. And he's a guy who in the past has hit well here in Arizona in spring training.
Yeah, was it last year or the year before he had just a ton of doubles?
Yeah. Here's the pitch on its way. Takes that one, and the count even. It's 1 ball, 1 strike on C.J. Crone. Crone hit .413 last spring here in the Cactus League with 11 doubles. And here's the next pitch. He hits one on 1 hop, and it's going to skip through the right side of the infield. It'll go the opposite way, so that's his first hit today. Angels have a 1-out base runner. Carlos Perez will be the next hitter.
Yeah, I was talking to Dave Hansen about C.J. Crone and what he's been seeing so far in camp. He said basically, you know, he's got to work with different styles of hitters, and a little bit, you know, he's a bigger guy, stronger guy. He's trying to slow it down for him. A lot of guys that are quick through the baseball, like a Cole Calhoun, you don't try to slow him down, but you try to slow down a guy like C.J. Crone and allow him to get that barrel of the bat through the zone where he wants to be effective to drive the ball to the alleys.
So Perez is at the plate. And the first pitch on Carlos, that's a strike. Mentioning Crone, the one part of his game he certainly hasn't demonstrated on an offensive side at the major league level. He is a free swinger. He hasn't had a single walk so far this spring. He very rarely walked for the Angels last season, even though he did hit over 260 last year. Here's the pitch, and that's hit high and deep into left field. Ramirez is out on the warning track. He will make the grab. That one just staying in. We see the ball carry today. That one stays in the ballpark for the second out. And Petit, who has been the big offensive star so far for the Angels in this game, with back-to-back home runs in this game, did it leading off the second and then hit one in the fourth. He will be the next batter.
Boy, that first home run he hit went a long, long way, and the next home run had some serious height to it and some carry.
Yeah. There goes Crone. He's on the move. The pitch is strike. The throw to second, and he's safe. Crone steals second base. Got a good jump, and he did that against a left-hander.
It's been going a couple times in this game. Again, when you're facing a left-handed pitch, you're just going on first move. And that's exactly what C.J. Crone did. Hope to guess right. And then the high throw from Gomes allows him to slide in with a stolen base.
Well, base hit might bring him in from second with 2 outs, and the pitch on Petit, that's in there. Well, Mike Socia was saying it, what was it, yesterday, I guess, that he likes his personnel to do more things on the bases this year, be more aggressive. He said, I don't know that we're going to be a real huge base-stealing team, but I do like the personnel, is what Mike said, as far as making more things happen on the bases than compared to a year ago.
Well, you can see that with all the players, even when you see them and talk to them during batting practice before the games, their mindset is that I'm going to get the green light to run on occasion. Last year was more, last couple of seasons, you see more station to station. But that's not the case right now.
Here's the 1-2 on Perez, and on Batista, I should say. He grounds that one right to the shortstop, and Lindor will throw him out. So that's the first time they've gotten Petit. Inning is over on the 6-3 ground out. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th here in Goodyear. Angels have a 6-3 lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Driven. Angels will make a pitching change and bring in the second reliever of the day. Fernando Salas will take over for Greg Molly, who had a clean inning against the Indians in the bottom of the 5th inning with a strikeout. So Salas, the new pitcher. And as far as his spring, Salas will be appearing for the 5th time, 4 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Francisco Lindor will be the first batter to face him, and Lindor has gone 0 for 2. 6-3 Angels, bottom of the 6th. First pitch, that's a little bit high for a ball. Fans, keep up to date on all things Angels baseball by liking and following the Angels on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Find out how to follow your favorite Angel players at angels.com/connect. Here's one bounce to Petit. He's had a pretty busy day out there. His throw, the Angels shortstop, is in time to get the Indians shortstop, and there's one away.
Really impressive arm strength for Petit throwing that ball across the diamond. Good hands, strong throw.
So here's Napoli. Homer, he's been hit by a pitch. He scored 2 runs. Right-handed batter. And the pitch, that's in there for a called strike. Gomes waiting on deck. And the next pitch, that's a little bit high, a check swing, and on the appeal they say that Napoli was holding. Tomorrow, the Angels will be on the road once again at Salt River Fields to take on Colorado. The Angels will actually play the Rockies back-to-back days. Also a game against Colorado on Friday, a split squad game as that pitch is in there on Napoli, who does a double take.
That's a pretty good slider there from Fernando Salas. Right on the outside part of the plate. Again, Carlos Perez doing a nice job of keeping that glove quiet, framing it well.
Here's the next pitch. That's a base hit right up the middle. So Napoli keeps on getting on base. Second hit, third time he's been on today. Had a nice spring for the Cleveland Indians. That's their 5th hit today, and Napoli has 2 of them.
I think he's really going to help Cleveland. They need some offense. You mentioned that great pitching they have, starting pitching especially. Carlos Carrasco is one of those guys, too, in that rotation that can dominate a lineup. They have so many guys that have no hit potential every time they take the mound, but they just didn't have enough offense. But Mike Napoli certainly gives them the offense to score some runs for Terry Francona's club.
Here's Gomes, a couple groundouts today. And the first pitch, that's a fastball outside. We'll check out the Dodge Out of Town scoreboard for you. Brought to you by the Dodge Challenger with an estimated 30 miles per gallon highway. This car was made for driving. Visit Dodge.com. And around the Cactus League, looks like 5 other games going on besides this one. And the pitch, that's high. Royals have a 2-0 lead against the Cubs in the 6th. Milwaukee blanking the White Sox 5-0 in the 5th. Lucroy a home run for the Brewers. Rockies and Dodgers 2-2 in the 5th inning. Puig is homered for the Dodgers, and in the 4th inning, Seattle leading the Giants 7-5. Here's the next delivery, and this is lifted high in the air into left field. Nava has a play. He'll make the catch a few feet from the track out there, rim of the track. Easy out, and 2 are gone. Venable will be the batter.
Looks like after Gomes had swung the bat there, he felt he missed the pitch to drive, just got underneath it enough to keep that in the ballpark. Was frustrated when he got to first base. Snob was able to track that one down.
So here's Venable. He has a sac fly. He's hit the ball to the outfield both times up. 0 for 1 officially. Here's the pitch, and Venable takes that one for a strike. You played against his dad, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
Don't want to make you feel old, Goobs.
Yeah.
But,
he was with when his dad was with the Angels, as a matter of fact. Yeah, fond memories of a grand slam I gave up to him, too. Thanks for reminding me, though. Appreciate that.
Oh,
that's what friends are for. Lifelong friends, Terry. I appreciate that.
You have to do your research. You know that. 1-1 is the count on Will Venable, his father Max, longtime big league player. And here's the next pitch. That's outside.
I was wondering when you were going to bring that one up, Jerry. I was hoping maybe at a certain point Venable will be out of the game and let someone else get another opportunity to swing the bat. We wouldn't remember that one.
Salas is ready. And the next pitch, pop foul back behind the plate. Will Venable, the batter, he was an Ivy Leaguer. He went to Princeton, and besides playing baseball, he also played college basketball. So I'm sure he's excited to see how things go in the NCAA tournament.
A couple guys from Princeton. Chris Young, member of the World Championship Kansas City Royals.
Right.
6'10", Chris Young.
Yep. He could post you up.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the next pitch. Fouled back to the screen.
Princeton could slow down the game a little bit when they're in their runs over the years in the tournament.
That's right. Very patient team on offense in college hoops.
Who are you liking so far, Terry, here? As we kick this off now.
Well, I think Mike Trout said he likes Duke.
He always picks Duke. Not a bad team to pick, though.
There's one chopped on the first base side. It's fielded by Crone, and he will easily beat Venable to the bag to end the inning. The 7th inning is right around the corner. It's 6-3 Angels on top of Cleveland on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Seventh inning, and the Angels will face a new pitcher. Brian Shaw is going to take over for Cleveland. They have a new catcher as well. That's Adam Moore. And also a new first baseman, Jesus Aguilar, is now taking over for Napoli over at first base. Fans, don't forget, if you have a group of 20 or more interested in experiencing Angels baseball, receive group ticket pricing for as low as $6 per seat. Visit angels.com/groups. So Shaw's first pitch, and that's right in there for a called strike on Johnny Giavotella. Johnny's grounded out a pair of times today. He's 0 for 2. Brian Shaw, former Long Beach State closer, was in 74 games for the Indians last year, and the pitch that's fouled off on the right side. 3-3 record, 2.95 ERA. He's a guy who has a good arm, fastball. He has a good cutter, kind of a slider he'll throw, a curve and changeup.
Look at all the talent that's come out of Long Beach State, baseball-wise.
Oh, yeah. So Shaw is set, and here's the next pitch. Chopped on the left side right at the third baseman. Easy play for Martinez, and he will throw out Giavotella. Johnny's grounded out on the left side all 3 times up.
Well, if you're a right-handed batter against Shaw, not an easy task either. He throws across his body. Then you mentioned that cut fastball he has. Very difficult to read the baseball out of his hand if you're a right-handed batter. Better chance if you're a lefty, though, against him.
Shaw's struggled a little bit so far this spring in his first 3 appearances. 5 earned runs allowed in just 2 2/3 innings. Here's the pitch. That's a little bit low. This is Rafael Ortega, who's batting for Yunel Escobar. So we'll begin to see a wave of Angel new faces. Escobar, who leaves the game, went 0 for 2. And the next pitch, that one is a pitch that's low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes on Ortega. Ortega is 6 for 25 here in the Cactus League. And the next pitch, that's chopped foul. G-Man Choi is waiting on deck. He'll be hitting for Nava. And now Shaw steps off the rubber. Time is called. Right-hander is ready. Here's the next pitch, and that's low and inside. So Ortega has worked the count in his favor. It's 3 balls, 1 strike. Angels leading the Indians. It's 6-3 as we start the 7th. Here's the next pitch, and that is ball 4. Walked him on 5 pitches. Angels have a 1-out base runner. Ortega can run. We'll see if he might be on the move.
Yeah, if we've seen that indication throughout this game where Mike Scioscia has been very aggressive with base runners, it's a perfect time to have Ortega on the move at some point, whether straight steal or hit and run.
Shaw is a pitcher who's had some control issues in the past. And here's G-Man Choi. Choi hitting .258 this spring, has a homer, 6 runs batted in. And the first pitch, he takes a big cut at that one and misses it. Choi has shown some patience at the plate as he has walked 6 times this spring, which ties him, at least coming into the ball game, for the club lead in base on balls. There's a pickoff toss, and diving back to the bag goes Ortega. Tomorrow, the Angels taking on the Rockies. It'll be Hector Santiago against John Gray. Gray is considered one of the better young pitching prospects in the game. He did spend some time last year with Colorado.
He's been one of their guys they've anticipated being that wave of good throwing power arms in the Rockies minor league system.
He struggled at home at Coors Field and pitched a lot better on the road. And of course, Coors Field can spook a lot of pitchers. Here's the pitch. That's called strike.
When you think about it, if you're Colorado, you're drafting a pitcher, you got to think in terms of a swing and miss type pitcher. You've seen over the years trying to bring sinker ball pitchers into that ballpark and you think that's going to be perfect, get ground ball outs. But sinker ballers that elevate anything up in the strike zone is going to get hit a long way in that yard.
Yeah. Shaw is ready. And here's the next one on Choi. He takes that one inside. Todd Cunningham is waiting on deck, so he will be batting for Trout. Mike Trout today was 1 for 3. And the next pitch that's lifted foul down the left side. It's going to get back to the seats and out of play. Should be getting the official attendance shortly. This ballpark seats a little over 10,000. Goodyear Ballpark. And this is the spring home of both the Indians and the Cincinnati Reds. They share this facility.
It's a nice ballpark.
Yep. It's in its 8th year now. There goes the runner, and the pitch is missed. And the throw down to second. Let's see. Safe at second base. Stolen base for Ortega. Choi is down on the strikeout, though. That's the second out. Angels now have Ortega after that stolen base at second. And here's Cunningham getting ready to bat for Trout.
Yeah, pretty good jump. And it was a breaking pitch, a low breaking pitch, easily slides in. Beating the tag. But again, you'll see that a lot for the middle infielders and a play at a base. They'll just keep that tag applied to it because if you come off the base at all with replay, you're going to be called out.
Here's the pitch on Cunningham. He hits it sharply on the first base side. The new first baseman Aguilar smothers that one and gets the ball over to first base, and that will end the inning. Shaw hustled over there to cover. 3-1 on the ground out. Angels threaten but fail to score. 7th inning stretch time coming up in Goodyear. 6-3 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels make wholesale changes here as we get ready to move to the bottom of the 7th inning. I think just about every player has been replaced here. So around the infield, G-Man Choi is now at first base. The new second baseman, we're seeing him play at that position for the first time this spring. Kyle Kubica is playing second. The third baseman is Caleb Coward. And the new shortstop is young player David Fletcher. In the outfield, Nick Buss is in left. Looks like Rafael Ortega will stay in the game in right. And in center field is Todd Cunningham. The new pitcher is Ramon Ramirez. And Ramirez delivers a strike. And the new catcher is Juan Gratterall. Not sure who the DH will be, but it's pretty safe to assume that Albert is on his way back to Tempe right now with the rest of the other starters. There's a pitch that's in there for a strike.
Treat for a lot of fans out here at Goodyear to have a number of the players, starting players, at this game. And I talked to a few people coming in. They were really surprised and happy to see that Trout and Pujols, Calhoun, and the rest of the guys here today.
Right.
Usually when it's that long of a trip, you won't see them. At least that many starters come on a road trip like this, but they were excited about that.
Here's the next pitch from Ramirez, and that one is fouled off over on the right side. The veteran Ramon Ramirez appearing in his 5th game this spring. 5 innings. He's allowed only 2 hits but 3 runs. Naquin, the batter here, has had a 2-for-2 day. Salas, who worked last inning for the Angels, gave up a hit but no runs in a scoreless inning of work. Ramirez, pitcher number 4 of the day, delivers, and that one is fouled off on the right side. So 6-3 Angels on top. Bottom of the 7th in Goodyear. And the next pitch, this is bounce back to the mound. Ramirez has it, takes a look at the ball, and throws to first in time. 1 away.
All that work. Beginning of spring training, the ground balls back at the mound. Covering first base for pitchers. We saw that end up last inning with Shaw covering the base. And the ground ball back up the middle. Ramirez, nice play. Throw over to first. Old school where he allowed the runner to get down there a little bit closer to the base before he threw him out. I like doing that.
Would you, I was going to ask you, would you inspect the baseball on a comebacker from time to time?
I wanted to make sure they got their exercise going down the line.
And there's one that's a little bit low. Ramirez at the plate for his 3rd at bat today for Cleveland. Switch hitter batting left. Takes that one on the outside corner for a called strike. And interesting seeing Kyle Kubica play second base here today. That was by design. Mike Scioscia had hinted that that would happen here today later in the ball game when some of the reserve players would come in.
And very important for Kubica to be able to have that versatility, be able to play second. You know, he plays third, plays some short and left field.
And there's a pitch that's in there for a called 3rd strike, and out looking is Ramirez. So Ramon Ramirez strikes out Jose Ramirez, and now Michael Martinez will be the next batter.
It's a real good fastball framed well by Gratterall, also behind the plate. Love that fastball away. Right at the knees, outside corner. All you can do is hit that ball on the ground the other way. Try to pull it. It's going to be a ground ball to second base, but you're going to get a lot of strikeouts when you hit that location.
Here's the pitch, and that's in there for a called strike. Here's the next delivery. A little bit low. Ramon Ramirez, another one of those veteran arms that the Angels signed in the offseason, and he's done a pretty good job for the Angels. Pitched in Mexico last year. There's a pitch in there for a called strike. He has extensive major league action, does Ramon Ramirez. Rockies, Royals, Red Sox, Mets, Orioles. Couple tours of duty with the Giants. And his next pitch, that one is tap foul right by the plate. Ramirez, when he was originally signed back in 1997, he was signed as an outfielder by the Texas Rangers. He's set. Here's the next pitch. That's tipped off the catcher Gratterall, so staying alive is Martinez.
Yeah, I've seen some of those transitions from a position player outfielder, especially to pitchers. Dave Steve was one of those that turned into be an excellent pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
All those years with Toronto. Troy Percival, catcher, before becoming an outstanding closer for the Halos, including getting all those key last outs in the run to the World Series in 2002.
Here's one a little bit low. Kenley Jansen, the closer for the Dodgers, former position player. So some, when they realize they can't keep advancing from a hitting standpoint, if you have a good arm, why not give it a shot? Here's the next pitch, and there's a cut and a miss, and a strong inning right there by Ramirez. They do not get the ball out of the infield. He sets them down cleanly with a couple of strikeouts. Eighth inning coming up. Angels have a 6-3 lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. A lot of changes defensively for Cleveland as we head to the eighth. Angels up 6-3. Before we get things started, let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Terry Smith, Mark Gubasa, and Darren Chan, our producer-engineer, with you here from Goodyear as we start the eighth inning. Zach McAllister is the pitcher, and Jeffrey Marte is going to bat for Albert Pujols. And the first pitch was in there for a strike. Albert was 0 for 3 with a run batted in today. And the next pitch, that's hit well into left field, and it's over the head of the left fielder Ramsey, who just came in. Breaking for second is Marte, and he will slide in a pop-up sliding leadoff double to start off the Angels' eighth. That ball was ripped off of McAllister.
And almost off the bat because it was hit so hard, I thought there might be a play at second base. They jumped all over that elevated pitch. And then the play at second base, but it's good to see some good solid contact throughout this game. Even though not a ton of hits, but certainly some extra base hits and good situational hitting for the Angels today.
So here's Kubica. He's hitting out of Cole Calhoun's number 5 spot. Calhoun was 1 for 3 with a couple of RBIs today. First pitch of ball on Kyle Kubica. Kubica just 2 for 14 at the plate, and he cuts and misses that one for a strike. Pick up the changes for the Cleveland Indians in just a moment. Here's the next pitch. Cut and a miss. So a couple strikes on Kubica. The new second baseman for Cleveland is Todd Hankins. They have a new third baseman. That is Eric Gonzalez. And the new shortstop, former Angel farmhand, Eric Stamets. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and down on strikes goes Kubica for the first out. They've gotten the official attendance today, and it's 4,900, right on the button.
Right on the button.
Hey, couldn't get any more in than that today. So here's Nick Buss, batter number 3 here in the inning. He's hitting out a Cron's spot, and he misses that one for strike 1. Mike Scioscia was talking about Buss earlier today, and he's been impressed with what he's seen from him. He's hitting over 500 this spring. How couldn't you be impressed? Done a solid job in the outfield as well. Has some major league action in the past, and he drives one deep into center field, but backpedaling and making the catch in straightaway center is Colin Cowgill, the former Angel, now with Cleveland. He'll make the grab, tagging at second and going to third. It was hit deep enough as Marte, so he's there with 2 outs. And we'll see if the Angels can get something in with 2 away.
Yeah, Terry, there's going to be a lot of tough decisions to make as far as the bench players for the Angels. A lot of guys putting up some good numbers here in camp. And really, there's only open spots for backup players, 4 or 5 potentially. And you also automatically have one of them as your catcher, backup catcher. So then you always have 3 or 4. That's it.
Right.
Especially with some of the injuries of the pitching staff right now. It might force Mike Scioscia to go with an extra arm out of the bullpen, which would take away a potential extra bat he would have on the bench.
On the flip side, early in the season, you have a few extra off days. So that can kind of factor into how you put your club together. The Angels, and we've talked about this a little bit, they're going to have to make a decision on Ji-Man Choi, who is a Rule 5 player. And the Angels, if they didn't want him to be on the major league club because of a number situation, it's not like they could send him down to the minors. So they're going to have to make a call on Choi. Pitch on its way. That's fouled back. Deolis Guerra is another Rule 5 player the Angels are going to have to make a call on. Angels took him in the draft away from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Good arm there.
Yeah. Coward at the plate, batting for the first time. He's hitting out at Carlos Perez's spot. Carlos, the Angel catcher, went 0 for 3. And the next pitch, this is chopped out towards short. Stamets is there, and he will field that one, and he throws to first. It's in time to end the inning. The Angels had the leadoff double, but failed to score, leaving that runner at third base. Bottom of the 8th is next. 6-3 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. A.J. Ochter is the new pitcher for the Angels. And Ochter is another one of the veteran-type pitchers that the Angels signed in the offseason who has done a very good job. This will be his 6th appearance. And he's worked 5 innings. He's given up only 1 run, no walks, 7 strikeouts. He was with the Twins for a time a year ago. So he's ready, and the first pitch right in there for a called strike. Todd Hankins is the batter, and he is hitting out of the Kipnis leadoff spot. Kipnis was 1 for 3 with a home run. And the next pitch, this is bounced softly towards short. Fletcher is there, fields, and makes a nice play to throw him out. The batter, Hankins, running to first, stumbled. So we have 1 out. As Ochter works, he takes over for Ramon Ramirez, who had a clean bottom of the 7th inning with a pair of strikeouts.
Nice play by Fletcher. He's been swinging the bat very well. I saw a couple of games you guys were talking about. He's done a nice job at the plate. Really
been impressive young player. The Angels drafted last June. And there's a pitch in there for a called strike. This is Shane Robinson batting for the first time today. Right-hander against right-hander. Robinson batting out a Grossman spot, chops one on the left side, charging is Coward, has it, throws, and gets it to Choi in time. So a couple of ground outs on the left side of the infield, 2 quick outs.
Well, if you're Charles Nagy, you're watching this. Actor's done a nice job as far as taking the sting out of the bat with those power little sinker, getting slow ground balls in the infield. Charles knows a little bit about the Cleveland Indians, running through those glory days when they were just a dominant offense.
Yep. As a player with the Tribe, he was in their organization last year. He actually took over late last season as the pitching coach at AAA Columbus, the Indians' top affiliate in the International League. It's a pitch on the outside corner. It's a called strike. This is Stamets at the plate, former Angel farmhand. He's hitting out of Lindor's number 3 spot. Francisco is 0 for 3. And here's the next pitch. That one is outside.
How about our good friend Jose Moto's birthday today?
That's right. Yep. Jose's in the country of Panama right now.
Yes, indeed. Happy birthday, Jose.
There's a swing and a miss, and Stamets is down, and a very quick, strong inning for Ochter. We're headed to the 9th inning here in Goodyear. It's still 6-3 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. New pitcher for Cleveland is a former Angel, Jarrett Grube, who was with the Angels briefly in the 2014 season. He will take over. And the first batter here for the Angels will be Juan Gratterall, the catcher. 6-3 Angels as we begin the ninth inning here at Goodyear Ballpark. First pitch, Gratterall lifts a high fly ball into right field. Shane Robinson is out on the warning track, and he'll make the catch on that one for the first out. A lot of quick outs here in this second half of this ball game. Last half inning in the bottom of the eighth, that was brought to you by Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Rotolo Chevrolet is pursuing excellence every day. Visit them at rotolo.com. That's rotolo.com. David Fletcher is the batter, and the right-handed hitter takes that one for a strike. He's hitting out of Johnny Giovatello's number 9 spot. Giovatello was 0 for 3. Here's the next pitch, and that one misses for a ball. Grube is appearing for the 5th time this spring for Cleveland, and 4 1/3 innings of scoreless relief so far this spring. He's done a good job for them. He pitched in Mexico last year, and that one is inside. Remember him, fastball slider type pitcher for the Angels. He's really moved around. He's pitched independent league baseball in the past, over 1,000 innings in the minors. Here's the next delivery. That's way outside.
Yeah, you can always respect a guy that just will not give up on that dream of being a major leaguer and staying in the major league.
Here's the next pitch. This is grounded sharply right up the middle, and it's another hit for Fletcher. He has been a neat little story for the Angels. Hasn't had much playing time. He's been up 4 times this spring, and he's had a hit every time up.
He's hit the ball hard, too.
Yeah. So the batter now will be Ortega. This will be his second at bat since coming into the ball game.
Stayed back on that baseball very well, and this drove it right back up the middle. Didn't try to do too much with it.
Toss over to first base, and Fletcher gets back. As Grube works, he's the 6th pitcher of the day for Cleveland. And the Angels got all their runs against the starter, Cody Anderson, all 6 of them, although 2 of them were unearned. The pitch, that's low and outside on Ortega. Angels have been putting together some victories of late. Unbeaten in the last 5 games, just 1 loss in the last 8. And will take at least a 3-run lead to the bottom of the 9th in this one. Again, a toss over to first base, and Fletcher dives back.
Seeing some good depth in the bullpen, too. Some good work out of the bullpen the last few games. Gives you a chance to win a couple of games coming back late to win games.
Here's the next pitch. That one is hit well into right field. Robinson is going back, and that one smacks off the wall. It'll be extra bases. The Angels will have runners at second and third as Ortega hit one high off the wall out there in right center field.
He continues to impress also. Backed up well by Calgill as a center fielder. Otherwise, that's an easy run score for the Angels. Stayed back well and drove that ball right off the wall. High off the wall.
So here's Choi with the chance to do a little damage. G-Man Choi. He bats with runners at second and third. 1 out. Angels up 6-3. Back-to-back hits off of Grube. Here's the pitch, and that misses low. Choi struck out his first time up. They have the infield in a bit. Good speed on the bases in Fletcher and Ortega. Here's the next pitch, and Choi takes that one low and outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Choi just looking for something elevated enough where he can, at the very least, hit a fly ball to get this run across. Good count to do so now, 2-0.
Grube is ready, and here's his next pitch. That's fouled off on the left side, backing out of play. Fans, here's the deal for you. $19.95 gets you Proactive, plus a rotating deep cleansing brush. It's valued at $45. You're guaranteed to get clear and stay clear, or you'll get your money back. Call 1-800-644-5944. That's 1-800-644-5944.
Some tremendous deals you're working, Smitty.
You got it. Here's the next pitch, and that is high and outside. It pops off the mid of Moore, but runners holding. Todd Cunningham waiting on deck. Angels haven't scored since the 4th, but have a 3-run lead and threatening to get some more. Here's the next pitch. Choi hits one high in the air, not all that deep in left field. Ramsey is coming in. He will make the catch, tagging his Fletcher. Here's the throw to the plate. Boy, that was a perfect throw, and that will be a fly-out double play to end the inning. That was a heck of a throw there by Ramsey, the left fielder.
Yeah, Ramsey stayed behind that baseball very well, got himself in a good throwing position. Do not blame Renicky for taking that shot, but a perfect throw.
So we go to the bottom of the 9th. It's still 6-3 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. First batter up for the Indians. Jesus Aguilar has just lifted a high fly ball to center field that Todd Cunningham puts away. So we have 1 pitch and 1 out already here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Achter is still pitching. He's set down 4 straight going back to last inning. And at the plate now is Adam Moore. This is his first time up. Here's the pitch. That one is inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes on Moore, who's batting for the first time. Here's Achter's next delivery. That's inside. It misses. Angels up 6-3, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th. Mark Ubisaw is headed downstairs. He'll visit with Angels manager Mike Sochi after the game. Here's another ball. It's hit well into right center, and diving out there And coming up with that baseball is Todd Cunningham. That was a heck of a play. He left his feet right there and went diving to his left and makes a fine play on that one for the second out. 2 are gone. 1 more out to go. Fans, don't forget Experian. Let's get serious about your credit. Go to Experian.com today. Joey Butler is going to bat. We saw him a little bit last season with the Tampa Bay Rays, right-handed batter, and he chops one back to the mound. This should do it. Fielded by Octor, the throw to first. It's in time, and the ball game is over. That was a very fast bottom of the 9th inning as Octor comes in and sets down all 6 batters that he faces. Another 1, 2, 3 inning for him here to wrap up today's ball game. So a good one today for the Angels. Things really quieted down after the 4th inning in this ball game. We had no scoring by either team after the 4th, but the Angels post the victory here today by the final score of 6-3. Angels record here in the Cactus League now goes to 8-6-2. And the Indians' record this spring is 6-9-2. Angels stay unbeaten in the last 6 ball games and have lost just once over the last 9 games here in Cactus League play. Solid ball game today. Angels, from a pitching standpoint, use Tropiano, Molly, Salas, Ramirez, and Octor. And boy, the bullpen was very good today between those 4 Angel relievers. They combined to pitch the final 5 innings in this ball game, allowing just 1 hit and no runs. So the Angels come away with the victory. We're going to send it down to Mark Ubisoy. He's standing by in foul ground on the third base side with Angels manager Mike Scioscia.
Thanks, Terry. Mike, what did you see out of Tropiano that you liked today? I mean, obviously the baseball was carrying very well, but he did throw some pretty good pitches.
Nick looked, I think, a lot sharper than maybe some of the balls that were hit. He gave up a couple home runs, definitely missed some spots with some fastballs to Kipnis and Mike Napoli, but in between he made some great adjustments, brought his changeup and his slider into the game more, and pitched strong 4 innings.
Well, how do you evaluate a pitcher, especially here in Arizona, the way the baseball carries? Maybe not have that crisp break on a slider. How do you determine when the guy is good enough to be able to help you on the big league club?
Well, you're certainly not doing any kind of statistical evaluation in Arizona. It's his bullpens, how he executes his pitches. He'll be graded out on his fastball command, and certainly. You expect guys that are really that spin the ball well. That would increase as you get back out and start the season in California. So, Nick had good stuff and pitched a good 4 innings for us.
One last thing, Petit hit the ball very well. His strong throwing arm is short, but what about 2 home runs today?
Yeah, Gregorio is he's really working hard. He's on those lower fields and he's can play all 3 positions. He's a veteran. He knows how to play the game. And they got into a couple balls really well this afternoon.
Well, thanks, Coach. Enjoy that drive back here.
All right.
All right, Terry, back to you, man. I'll see you in a little bit. We're going to enjoy a little fun in the little post-game show here with you there, Terry, and Alex is going to join me pretty soon.
You got it, man. We will be waiting for Angels Live. It's coming up shortly on Fox Sports West. Again, the final score today, the Angels over the Indians 6-3. For those of you watching on TV, Mark and Alex Curry will have a lot more post-game analysis on Angels Live, and on the radio side, we'll have some more for you from Goodyear as well. This is the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.